Jeff Grubb, Games Beat. And have you ever gotten halfway through a video and been really happy with it and then looked down and realized that you have the wrong audio input device set up, and so none of the things you've said have been recorded? Well, that just happened to me, but we're starting over. We're reviewing the Astro A50 headset. It is the latest wireless headset from Astro. It's third generation model. It comes in two variations. The one that works with Xbox One and PC, that's green, this one. And there's another one that works with PlayStation 4 and PC, and that's blue. I don't have that one. The difference is you plug this into an Xbox One, it gets game audio, it has chat audio, and it will have it will record your voice over its microphone, and it does this all wirelessly. If you plug this into a PlayStation 4, this one, the green one, you will get just the game audio. You won't be able to get the chat or anything like that wirelessly. For that, you would need the PlayStation 4 version. And it's, vice versa. It's mirrored, flipped. If you get the PlayStation 4, you only get game audio on Xbox One. If you plug this into a PC, either model, it's just going to work. Same with Mac, that's USB. They're $300. It's out now. It's shipping from Astro. And I really, really think that this is a great headset. Astro has just included a ton of technology, a ton of extra features. What separates this from the previous generations, there's been two generations of Astro A50 so far, is that base station and the technology. And we're going to talk about all of that, starting with, however, sound and comfort. Because when you're talking about a headset, you always got to kind of start there. If it doesn't have sound, it doesn't have great sound, if it isn't comfortable, all the other stuff doesn't matter. But I'm happy to report it's got both those things. Starting with comfort, I think Astro has learned a lot over the years. They're one of the kind of high-end in the gaming space headset makers. And what they've learned, and you saw this in the Astro A40s and now with the A50s, is just how to cram a ton of stuff in here and yet still make it feel relatively lightweight. Now, this headset, when you just kind of hold it, it feels a little bit heavy. And that makes sense because it's packing there's a ton of stuff in here. There's the wireless transceivers. There's the amplifiers. There's the controls. There's a bunch of sensors actually in there. There's just a ton of stuff inside of these things, and yet when I put it in my head, it feels really like almost nothing. And what that means is that Astro's just figured out how to displace all the weight across your head in a very intelligent way. I think that a big part of that is just engineering intelligence. It's a lot of experience, and it's using the right materials. So up here on this strip, I'm using the leather mod kit version and not the kind of soft material that comes with the base model, but both do the same thing. It's this really soft pad that kind of hangs most of the weight up on your head in a part of your head where you don't necessarily feel like there's a bunch of weight hanging there, because it's this big long thing and it spreads it out real nice. And then the rest of it is kind of right here held against your temples and above your ears and around your ears. And this cloth material, I think, is especially comfortable. I was using the leather model, the leather mod kit ear cups on here. I switched back, partially because I do think these are super comfortable. Not that there's anything wrong with the leather, but also because these let in more sound. And my wife is super pregnant, so when she needs something, I need to be able to hear her. And these let in that important audio so that I can go help her. But the benefit of that is these are super comfortable. I really like this material. It feels really great up against my head. But it's not just comfort, it is sound. Astro has sort of blown me away with their capability to have a wireless headset that is just pumping through all of the audio information that you want. There's tons of really great sounding wireless headsets, some that, cost less than this. But I would say that these probably do the best of just broadcasting the entire spectrum of audio in a really robust and natural way. So what that means is you get those tight, responsive, high-end sounds. You get a nice dialogue, gunshots, and at the same time you get that rumbly, tumbly bass just booming away and hitting you, in your jaw and your muscles and sort of making your head shake. And yet you could still clearly make out dialogue. You can clearly make out gunshots, the different kinds of gunfire happening around you. That is possible because this has such a wide spectrum of crystal clear sound that nothing gets lost or mushed together or compressed. It just sounds like it's supposed to sound. A big part of that is, Astro's using a 5 gigahertz wireless signal for the first time with these headsets. So there's no latency. They can push through a ton of data, and that comes across in that supernatural sounding, not supernatural, but natural sounding audio. Now, moving on to the base station. Now, I'm going to hopefully include some pictures or video. This base station is super smart. I love it. It is one of the big new features in the 3rd generation, and what it is it has all the inputs and outputs you want: optical, auxiliary. I'm just going to struggle to say that word. Input, so you can bring in your own audio source and mix it together on the fly, which I know a lot of people like to do. But it's also a charging station. So when you're done with your headset, you just plop it right down in there, and there's magnets that sort of suck the headset into place so that it will definitely charge. Now, I will say that I did struggle with that process a little bit for about a week or two. I think I was not trusting the magnets to do their job, so I was trying to... Sorry, I'm dropping stuff. I was trying to shimmy them in place too much instead of just trusting the process. And that was frustrating because I was spending like 5-10 seconds trying to get the headset in place. But now I've sort of learned, after a bit of an educational process, that I can just plunk it down in place and have confidence. And as long as I commit to that sort of motion where I'm just like, boom, it almost every time it's like, yes, okay, it's on, it's in place, and it's charging. Keep that in mind. When you get yours, if you do get yours, like, yeah, it might not feel right at first, but if you kind of just trust it, it will work a lot better. But the base station isn't just impressive because it charges your headset and has some inputs. It also has kind of all the information you need about your headset. It tells you if it's charging. It tells you if it's powered on. It tells you if it has Dolby Digital surround sound turned on. It also tells you how much power it has. So you don't have to bring up software on your computer to see, I'm at 50% power. I'm at 2 bars on here. And now I know that next time I take off my headset, I need to pop it on there to charge it so that when I come back to work tomorrow, it's good to go. I really appreciate that because, it's right over there. I could just glance, and now I know everything I need to know about my headset without having to, take it off and look at it or open up some, third-party software, some extra piece of software, which, does come with this, but I don't have to have it open at all times, which is crucial. But the base station kind of leads into what is truly the biggest and most impressive feature of the Astro A50 headset, and that is all of the technology that just makes it so you don't have to put any thought into it. It just works every time. And what that comes across as is all of these special features, and it starts with maybe the accelerometer, and we'll start there. So with a lot of headsets, a lot of wireless headsets, they do this thing where they shut off in the middle of use. So I can think of like the Razer Man-O-War, the wireless one, or the Logitech G933. Those will do a thing where if I am listening to them and I turn off my music and I turn off my game and there's kind of no audio happening on the computer, but I am still waiting for a notification sound from my email or from Twitter or something like that. If that notification sound takes like 5, 10, 15 minutes, or sometimes even if it happens and I'm waiting for another one, the headset won't register that, or it will say there hasn't been consistent audio for long enough. I'm going to shut down to save battery because obviously you're not using me, right? Well, here's the thing. I am using you. I want those headsets to work in that situation. Maybe they're not designed to work in that situation, but I want them to work in that situation. The Astro A50 works in that situation. what it does is it has this accelerometer inside of it that can sense when your head is moving. So I have them on, and I'm going to try to keep my head still. And maybe you could see that even as I'm trying, my head is doing these slight, subtle motions. And I think that, that this is, maybe I'm more fidgety than a lot of people. I definitely am. But even if you are kind of a rock solid, steady person, you're still always doing slight adjustments, especially if you're using a keyboard and mouse. And this is going to sense those, and that means as long as it senses those, it's never going to shut down by itself. It's just going to keep working. Even if there's no audio playing on your computer, it's still on and is ready for audio to be played at any moment because you're wearing it and it knows you're wearing it. Now, if I set it down, the accelerometer will begin to notice that there is no motion, so I must not be wearing it. So now it's safe to shut down. And what this does is it just solves that stupid problem of just headsets shutting down when you're in the middle of using them. I hate that. It's something that I've always found very frustrating. And now Astro has friggin' solved it. And I love it. This is so smart. What it does, it really makes me appreciate the engineering that Astro has put into this headset. I think that they identified a problem, and they're like, how can we solve this in a way that is permanent and is exactly what our users want? This is it. This is exactly what I wanted, and it works exactly how it should. So I've set it down, and the red light, the power button, shut off a few seconds ago. Here's the cool part. I pick it up. Even before I could show it to you, the red light has already come back on. And when I put it on, the audio is almost always playing again. Actually, anytime I've come back from like using the bathroom or answering the door or something like that, and I've picked the headset back up, by the time I get it back on my head, the audio is playing again. The music I left on my computer is already playing by the time it's like going on my ears. Now, if I pick it up really quickly and try to like catch it, it's like, okay, I can hear there's nothing, and now it's playing again. But if I'm just using it like a normal human being, which I understand I'm not, but if I were, and I just picked it up and I'm coming back to work and I put it on my head, okay, it's just so seamless. It's such an incredibly perfect experience for a wireless headset that I can't praise it enough. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the headset that I really do love. I mean, we'll talk about the battery life in general. It's 15 hours, maybe 12 with heavy use. But the combination of all these different features mean that you pretty much never have to think about the battery life. And when it's time to think about it, you're going to end up knowing about it. So it's saving its battery all the time whenever you're not using it if you set it down. Now, if you set it on the cradle, it's charging. If you're using it for a long work day, something I've done over and over now, you're going to end up noticing, because you just naturally glance over to the base station, oh, it's only got 2 bars left. It only has 1 bar left. So the next time that I know I'm done, I shouldn't just set it on my desk. I'll just put it on the cradle, and it'll be charged and ready to go tomorrow. That is these combination of features mean that it's never run out of battery life for me, ever. I'm also not stressing about it running out of battery life, ever. It's just working as it should all the time, and it has all the features necessary to sort of take care of itself with minimal effort from me. And that is, whoa, I love it. But let's talk about, there's a couple things I don't like. Let's move on to those. The first is microphone. So we'll talk about that real quick. I'm going to bring it up. It does have mic monitoring. That's something I really like, and I can hear myself talking, and I am enjoying that now. And I want to bring it up close to my mouth. But let us get it on. There we go. Headset microphone. Okay, so now I am using the Astro A50 microphone. Doesn't sound very good, right? But it gets the job done for communication, and for that, it is fine. I would just point out that this is kind of standard for wireless gaming headsets. This is the nature of the beast. This is what they sound like. They are putting all of their effort into other things. They're not going to take up a lot of
the wireless bandwidth for gaming microphone audio. So the end result is, it kind of, if you compare it to something that's wired, it sounds a little bit like a HyperX Cloud Stinger. It's kind of what I determined myself. And that headset's only $50, $50 to $300. The difference is this is wireless. I will say that the one thing it does very well is it blocks out background audio. You shouldn't hear a lot of that. If you do, well then I'm fucking wrong. Sorry, but I don't think you should. But it sounds compressed. It sounds internet-y. It sounds like a bad Skype connection, or like just a low quality Skype connection. But like I said, it gets the job done for game chat, which is what you probably want this for. And on a Xbox One or PlayStation 4, their audio codecs are so but anyhow, it doesn't matter. This is going to be fine. You're not going to lose any quality because that thing's already so like the audio in there is already so terrible. But whatevs. It gets the job done. The other issue, range. The range. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna switch back to the blue.
So the other issue is range. In general, I think that the headset has enough range for most gaming setups. I personally, though, once I have a wireless headset on, I want to be able to put on music or a podcast and then maybe go do like a chore or something just real quick. With a lot of wireless headsets in my home, which isn't huge, 1,500 square feet or whatever, it's got 3 bedrooms or whatever. If I go downstairs, most wireless headsets, no issue. I never lose signal. I have occasionally lost signal with these when I'm walking down my stairs. Even if I go in my bedroom, which is just like 2 doors down, the audio gets broken up, artifacts, or it just drops completely for a second or two. It's not so bad that I'm like not willing to like walk around the house with it. I'll still go down to the kitchen, and most of the time it works fine. I just wish it never had any drops, because that's kind of how I like using my wireless headsets. I will say that I think it might have something to do with the 5 gigahertz wireless. My router has a 5 gigahertz wireless signal, and I'm thinking there's a potential that there is a interference from that. But the thing is, I'm not going to stop using my 5 gigahertz wireless router, and I think more and more people are going to start using 5 gigahertz wireless routers. So if that is the issue, which I'm not saying it is, I didn't do enough research to see if that's an actual problem. But if that is the problem, then I'm still going to consider that a problem with the headset and not with other technologies. But I will say, beyond just very slight range issues and a microphone that most people are going to be fine with, this is just an excellent all-around headset. It's not going to, you can't take it outside. It's not for that. It has a very specific purpose. But in that purpose, it does so much right, so much better than everyone else, that I can't help but recommend it. It is just an excellent headset, even at $300. Now, that's a steep price, but if if you're in that range, and if you are, I can't imagine kind of getting anything else unless you want one headset for every situation. Where, if that's the case, if you want a wireless headset that can also work with your smartphone, and can plug into anything else, maybe go with the Logitech G933. I still like that kind of that ability to plug a cord into it and use it anywhere, and then have it wireless and still have great audio. That's great for that. But if you just want something that is for gaming, for media, for your PC or for your console, Astro's done it. This is the one. I really believe that. I think that's going to do it, though. Thanks for watching. Jeff Grubb, GamesBeat, GamesBeat.com for more. Jeff Grubb on Twitter. And I'll see you guys in the next video.